Hey guys, this is Jack Coach of your Wenatchee Wildcats bringing you our Week 1 Team Builder video. This week we are facing Eric slash Rossy, coach of the Michigan Magikarps, and his team is really difficult. He has a team of Suicune. Oh my goodness, I hate these notifications. I'm sorry, guys. Suicune, Victini, Chansey, Mega Aggron, Venusaur, Alola Muck, Hitmonlee, Crocodile, Rotom, Mismagius, and Ninetales, with the Z captains being Victini and Venusaur. Um, his team is problematic. Victini and Venusaur both get access to Omni Boost Z moves. I think it's both Z Celebrate or maybe one Z Celebrate. They basically do the same thing where it's an Omni Boost. But his defensive core and Chansey and Mega Aggron is really difficult. They are both weak to fighting types. However, Mega Aggron with base 230 defense stat, Chansey with base 130 or something like that, but insane HP like 200, 230, something like that. Even though they both do have a common weakness to fighting, they cover each other up just because Mega Aggron doesn't care about physical fighting moves. Chansey doesn't care about special fighting moves. Other problems on his team are, of course, Ninetales and Venusaur. Ninetales being able to set up the sun, and Venusaur getting that chlorophyll boost. And, of course, it also gets growth as well in the sun. So it can come in, set up growth, and it's basically +2 attack, special attack, and speed. Suicune is difficult because it's just a really bulky water type. He's used that past seasons, and it's hard, especially if it's the Calm Mind set. It just, after it sets up a couple Calm Minds, if it's max physically bulky, it's really difficult to get rid of. Victini is also problematic. I've used that in a couple seasons, as you know. It just hits super hard with V-Create. Of course, it also gets a nice special fire move, and Blue Flare doesn't hit as hard as V-Create, but of course you also don't suffer from the minus defenses and speed stats as well. Alola and Muck is a fantastic mon, only one weakness to ground type. It gets access to Knockoff, Pursuit, and Pursuit, as well as Shadow Sneak. So it can Pursuit Trap my Celebi and a few other mons as well, which is difficult. It also gets Gluttony. Its moves, its abilities, it can have Gluttony to be able to eat that Papa Berry or whatever berry, or Poison Touch to increase the chances of poisoning, and like Poison Jab or Gunk Shot, or just regular chance to poison and other contact moves as well. Hitmonlee is really scary. I use that in the GRBL. I can run Scarf, like Scarf Reckless, High Jump Kit, stuff like that, or of course the normal gem Unburdened set as well. Two ghost types in Rotom and Mismagius. Crocodile also gets Pursuit, but of course it can either be Intimidate, a bit more bulky, or Moxie and start setting up those Moxie boosts. Overall, his team is just really scary. He does kind of have a small weakness to ground, with I think Rotom and Mismagius being his only immunities to ground. But other than those two, he doesn't have any resistances to ground, I don't think. But yeah, so going over my team, right here you see the first one I have is Scrafty. Yellow is the new blue, holding a leftovers. He's running a Dragon Dance set with Knockoff, Drain Punch, and High Jump Kick. I don't really need any coverage moves because Dark and Fighting hits his entire team neutrally, if not super effectively. So Drain Punch is to kind of get some recovery back. High Jump Kick, 2-hit KOs. Specially defensive Mega Aggron at +1. Physically defensive, you do need a bit more. I think I need another Dragon Dance to be able to 2-hit KO physically defensive Mega Aggron. And then Knockoff, of course, hits his two ghost types as well as Victini. And then Drain Punch and High Jump Kick hits everything else pretty much. I do have to be careful about Protects, but that's also what Drain Punch is there, so I don't have to worry about the 50% recoil damage from High Jump Kick on a Protect. So Dragon Dance generally runs Moxie, but I figured I don't really need a Moxie sweep in this. I only need, if I get to 2 Dragon Dances, I'm pretty much good to go, as long as Suicune is weakened a little bit, and Crocodile is an Intimidate. I believe Scarf Miss Magius can outspeed me, even with two Dragon Dances up, and it does have access to Dazzling Gleam, I believe, so I do have to be a little bit careful about that. But Shedskin is here, so I can more reliably set up on stuff like Suicune, on Chansey, on Crocodile maybe if it's more of a bulky set, on Rotom, be able to shrug off Skull Burns or Will-O-Wisps or Toxics or anything like that, and start getting those Dragon Dances up. I decided Intimidate isn't that important because the stuff I do want to Intimidate hit me pretty hard, even with that -1, like Hitmonlee or Crocodile. And then I decided, like I said, Moxie isn't that worth it as well, just because I don't really need to get that Moxie roll going. So I decided to go with Shedskin just to open up my setup opportunities. And then, of course, I am running enough speed. I believe this allows me to outspeed Miss Magius, or Ninetales, I believe, which is his fastest mon, at +1. Our next mon we have is Blue-Gray, our Nidoqueen holding Black Sludge, running a physically defensive set with Toxic Spikes, Earth Power, Stealth Rock, and Ice Beam. Earth Power and Ice Beam hits his entire team, at least neutrally. T-Bolt would be nice to be able to hit the Suicune, but even with T-Bolt, I'm not going to be hitting that thing hard. I just need to switch out on the Suicune. But Earth Power hits Victini, Aggron, Muck, Hitmonlee, Rotom, Ninetales, and Ice Beam hits everything else neutrally at least. Yeah, so it's pretty standard. If he doesn't have the Alolan Muck, then or the Venusaur, I want to get my T-Spikes up as soon as possible because that's really going to help on the Suicune. It's also really going to help on the Chansey too, because Chansey, of course, does have Natural Cure, so you can't really Toxic it because it could just switch out and cure that Toxic. But with T-Spikes up, it'll be re-poisoned on entry, so that'll be really critical to be able to wear down the Chansey. It'll also just be helpful in general to wear down other stuff like Victini, Hitmonlee, Crocodile, stuff like that. And then Stealth Rocks as well to further start wearing down his team. Next one we have is our Mega Altaria, also running a defensive set as well. Rouge, Hyper Voice, Fire Blast, and Heal Bell, trying to be more of a cleric type set. Hyper Voice just hits, Hyper Voice and Fire Blast hit his entire team. I don't think he has a resist. No, he does have Ninetales. But I'm not too worried about Ninetales in this game. If Ninetales does come, it's going to be more just like setup, stuff like that. Defensive to be able to take hits from Hitmonlee, from Victini, from Crocodile, and hit all of them back with Hyper Voice. Of course, Victini also resist the Hyper Voice Fire Blast set. But I'm not too worried about that. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I might switch it out for a Return and Earthquake. Is there a reason why I wanted... Oh, Fire Blast is cool. I can hit Aggron. I don't know. I'll have to think that over a little bit. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep it just so I can hit Aggron. But I don't think Fire Blast is going to be doing a whole lot to Aggron anyways without much investment. I don't know. I might change that before the match starts. If I do, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it's pretty much just being a bulky support set. Next one we have is our Celebi holding a Gracium Z, running a Sword Stance physically offensive set. Max speed in order to be able to speed tie with the Victini, and then of course max rest into attack. This does get absolutely hard walled by Aggron, which is a problem, but looking at the rest of my team, I just needed I needed a source of physically offensive presence other than Scrafty. Even though Nidoqueen and Altaria don't have special offensive investment, they do still hit pretty hard just naturally. Nidoqueen with the sheer force, Altaria with its natural offensive stat, and of course also with the Pixelate's Hyper Voice as well. So I do have already special offensive presence. So I just needed something to be able to take care of Chansey. I needed something to hit Suicune after it has potential Calm Minds up, which is why I had the Grassy MZ Seed Bomb. I wanted U-turn to be able to go out on Crocodile, even though it might Pursuit Trap me. Hitmonlee does have really nice special buffs, so physical Zen Headbutt helps to take out that. And yeah, so I might regret making this physical just because it just gets absolutely hard walled by Aggron as well as Muck as well. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Next one we have is Vaporeon, doing a special defensive set. This thing completely hard walls Suicune unless it's running like Calm Mind, HP Grass. Because with the water absorb, it cannot hit me with Scald. So even if it gets like up all the, even if it's like a Crocoon all the way up to +6, if Scald is his only offensive move, it cannot touch Vaporeon. And then of course I have the Roar as well in order to phase it out. Because the thing is that Suicune, if it is a rest set, it does hard wall Vaporeon back, which is problematic. So that's why I have Roar here in order to better handle Suicune in case it does have a lot set up already, so that I can phase it out and reset everything. Then I have Toxic just in case I don't have any opportunities to get at my Toxic spikes. I have Toxic in order to Toxic this Suicune, Victini, Crocodile, stuff like that, Ninetales. Yeah, Vaporeon is here just as a cleric, be able to wish stuff, pass wishes to and fro. And then Roar, Toxic, Scald just to get that nice Scald stuff going on. And then our last one we have is our blue negative Rotom Heat holding choice specs. Just because I needed a strong, especially offensive presence to be able to take on the Aggron, and I felt like Rotom was really good for that, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of rockers. Chansey does get Stealth Rocks, of course, as does Crocodile, but both of those bonds, as well as Aggron, of course, also gets rocks, which if he does have a rocker, Aggron is the most likely bring Chansey and Crocodile, although they both do get rocks, depending on sets, they might not have the room for it. So I just totally lost my train of thought here. Yeah, so I don't have a defogger this week, which can be problematic. I might end up changing Heal Bell on Altaria for defog. I think overall I might just rethink this Altaria set. But I just needed something to come in and be able to click Overheat. He doesn't have a whole lot of switch-ins to Overheat. The only thing he has is Chansey and Victini. Even Ninetales, if it switches in, it sets up the Sun for me, and then that Overheat is going to be hitting really hard on the Ninetales. And then, of course, Volt Switch, Overheat, and Shadow Ball helps out with the Rotom Miss Magius. I might replace Shadow Ball with Trick, just so I can potentially trick choice specs onto Chansey or onto Suicune or something like that. It's max speed because Rotom does outspeed Suicune by 1 point, which will be really nice in order to, if I can come in, if it doesn't have any Calm Minds, choice specs Thunderbolt is going to be hurting a lot. And then Volt Switch, if he doesn't have Crocodile, Volt Switch is absolutely free, so I can just Volt Switch on his team all day long. Yeah, so the strategy this week is Vaporeon just has to keep things healthy, especially the Rotom, because Rotom does kind of wall the Aggron if it doesn't carry a rock move. And of course, if he does have rocks up, then which is going to be even more important to make sure Rotom stays healthy. Once Aggron is weakened, I can come in, set up a Sword Stance with Celebi, potentially start putting some work there. Get up T-Spikes as soon as I can, either once Venusaur/Mulk are taken care of, or if they're in a bad position where they can't really switch in as often, I might be able to get up the T-Spikes then. And overall, wait around until either Celebi or Scrafty could come in and start setting up to get that sweep in motion. Yeah, so we'll see how this week goes. Like I said, he does have a really scary team. It's going to take some good predictions, some good plays in order to work around his really bulky mons and work around his offensive mons as well. But I think we do have a chance, especially if we can get 2 Dragonistas up with Scrafty and he's still healthy. I think we're in a really good place. So yeah, that's our team, and I guess I'll see you guys at the battle. Bye.